Stephen Curry is 37 years old, but still doing it at a superstar level. With Jimmy Butler, unfortunately suffering an injury that's going to hold him out for the rest of this season, how much time do the Warriors have left to win another championship with Stephen Curry? We think they can do it this season if they play their cards right. I'm Kris Pursiainen, and that's Zach Noble. This is All Things NBA from A to Z, presented as always by ballislife.com. We're here today to talk about the Golden State Warriors and how the hell they can win one more championship with Steph Curry in tow. They've got 4. That 2022 ring was amazing. It was a miracle ring for them that absolutely changed the way we talk about Steph and his time in Golden State, because I guarantee you people would have found a way to discredit if it was just 3 and 2 of them were with KD and that team. And I guarantee it. But at 4, this guy is in the Bryant Duncan conversations he belongs in. How the hell can they get him a 5th championship, get themselves a 5th championship? We got to start where it all starts, which is this NBA trade deadline has a chance to be defined by the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade that is or isn't. We have no idea what the Bucks are going to do. We have no idea if Giannis is going anywhere. But one thing seems certain. He's not long for Milwaukee, whether that's this trade deadline or this offseason. He seems like he could be on the move. Zach, how do we get him to the Warriors? Does he want to go? How do they sell him on this? Is it like Jimmy and everything of value besides Steph and Draymond that they have for Jan? Like, what works here? How do you get this done? Because me personally, man, I'm looking at the Bucks, right? And if I'm the Bucks, I'm thinking if we're sending you Giannis and we're taking back Jimmy Butler, we either need to have a third team to send Jimmy to, or we're taking everything of value. Like you are also taking Kyle Kuzma's contract. We are taking Podziemski, every first round pick you have, maybe Moody, maybe like whoever they want, right? So let's start there. Can the Warriors get Giannis? Is Steph and Giannis possible? Is there something here?
Yeah, absolutely, because they have 4 picks, and I think they have enough to add to 4 picks or 2 picks or 3 picks, whatever they can dwindle that down to get Giannis and to make it a fair value and for Giannis to be happy. Would he be happy in Golden State, San Francisco? I'm not sure, but I think
maybe if he's playing with Steph.
Right. You'd think if he really wants to win, that would be an appealing spot for sure. But those 2 alone, I don't know if they could do it yet. I think that's their best shot. And I think their chances get even better if they're willing to trade Draymond Green, but I don't think they are willing to trade Draymond Green. So I think the first step is figuring out who you can get without giving up Draymond. The best players that come to mind for me are Giannis, Anthony Davis, and Lauri Markkanen.
AD is the big one to me, where outside of Giannis, you can still make something shake if you turn Jimmy into AD. I don't know about Lauri. Is that the line for you after Lauri? Because for me, I think that line is after AD. I don't think.
Well, they're not on the same tier by any means, but
right, adding Lauri to this team right now doesn't make them like the kind of contender they would need to be to make one last. We're gonna dump our entire future into age 37 Steph Curry. Like, again, if they win, none of it matters, right? The fans get a 5th ring and they'll sit through however many years of recuperation need to happen. Right. But I don't know that Lauri Markkanen makes this team good enough to where they can beat the Thunder. They can beat Wemby and the Spurs if they pick things up. But the whole Western Conference standings kind of above that is a little more of concern right now. Like, can this Warriors team with, instead of Jimmy Butler, Lauri Markkanen, can they beat the Nuggets or Spurs or Thunder? I don't think so. And that's
it gets them
tough.
closer. And I think they got to decide, first of all, if Steph for sure wants to be there, regardless if they do something or not. They figure that out. If there's under the table where Steph is like, I want to win, but you guys can't get anything, trade me somewhere and give Steph a couple last runs at it, because they have no hope with this roster. Jimmy Butler is going to be recovering, and he still wasn't even at his peak powers. So when he last left, like, he wasn't the same player this year as he was even last playoffs. I mean, he's been good this year. Don't get me wrong. He's had a very underrated year, but he hasn't, I'd say he's about 95% of his peak yet when he left that court. So it should be very easy to trade him, but do you have the pieces otherwise around that? And Steph is still playing great. If you're going to stick around, they like to win or try to win. The ownership seems that way. It seems like they don't want to just give him the Kobe tour on the way out of just, here's a shit team, go sell some seats.
Right. But it's like, this team has good players on it. Are they good enough? Like, I like Will Richard, a good deal. I think
if you have stars around him.
Right. I mean, I think, Melton, Richard, Peyton, like Post, Davis, Jackson Davis, like, these are all guys that are fine pieces of a rotation if you have Steph and Giannis.
Right.
Right? Like, they are kind of in a weird spot where they have a lot of solid players. Pat Spencer is awesome. But I still just they need someone.
Buddy's not even shooting good this year. That's a big deal to me. I mean,
he's had a poor season for them this season, and a lot of it has been the positions that they've put him in. So, like, I don't know. If you're the Bucks,
been shooting better this year. That's helpful.
If you're the Bucks, and there's nothing that works with the Knicks and the Trailblazers, because that's something where Jake Fisher and Mark Stein have been reporting, hey. Yep. The Knicks like Drew Holiday. The Blazers like Mikal Bridges. The Blazers have the Bucks picks. The Knicks want Giannis. There's something there. So if Giannis gets plucked off the board in a situation like that, where as the Warriors, you didn't even really have a chance to get involved, Anthony Davis is the pivot. He has to be the pivot. And I'm not sure, just how much you should be willing to give up for Davis, because you're in this weird situation business-wise where the Mavericks should be able to charge what they want for AD, because if you desperately need an upgrade and he's the best option available, the elasticity there is not great for the Warriors. It's very great for the Mavericks. But if you're the Warriors and AD is the only guy that can save your team and make them a contender again, you both need to be willing to get him and give up what it takes to get him. But also, it seems like you're kind of in a situation where your team might not be all that great to begin with, and you can't sacrifice a million cajillion pieces for one guy who's injury prone. So now you're left in this situation of like, well, what can we do that's fair? Like Butler and Kuminga and draft capital for Davis and like whatever salary makes that work. Like, it's just nasty. It's just odd. But also, I'll say it, this is what the Warriors have done to themselves. This is the position they have put themselves in.
It's all been worth it for them. I mean,
they refused to use draft capital to improve their team. They instead said they were going to do Dave Gettleman 2 timelines, and they wound up with Wiseman and Kuminga, who I think they would just erase from NBA history if they could. And Moses Moody, who they used the least valuable pick out of the three of those guys on, who's easily the best player of the three for them, not because Kuminga stinks, but because they'd rather lose than win with John Kuminga. So, like, I don't understand why they did this to themselves, how they ever determined it was going to work or be worth it, but that also has to be in the past. So for right now, Zach, what can they trade for Anthony Davis that makes you, one, say Dallas would do that deal, and that makes sense to build with Cooper Flag and around Cooper Flag, and two, makes you say what the Warriors have left here with Curry, Green, and Davis, or rather Curry, Davis, and Green, because we know Draymond's going to be playing center. Does what they have left leave them with enough to win a championship? So this is a lot of pressure on you, my man. What is the trade? What is the trade that gets this done between the Warriors and the Mavericks, where Jimmy Butler goes out, Anthony Davis comes in? I don't know. Maybe a third team gets him.
I think it's way easier than you're making it seem, and that's Jimmy, like, plus a first, maybe two for AD, and I think it's that simple. Obviously they're unprotected.
The salary works there.
Yeah. They're exactly 54.1 each.
Oh, wow. So just the draft picks they have left, the couple of picks they have. What then do you do to shift some? They've got to shift some talent from the forward spot to the guard spot, kind of, right?
Do you try to get Clay back? Why not? I mean,
Kuminga for Clay as part of the deal?
I don't see why not.
Baby. Oh, baby. Hey, listen, Dallas really values Clay as a leader. I can tell you that they value him in that locker room as a leader and a veteran. So,
if they could find a way to, do they even need like Daniel Gafford though? Do they need him?
They're willing to move him to save money.
No, I know, but would he really benefit the Warriors that much to give?
Yes, they need him. They now listen. If they're gonna have Green and AD, no, but
true.
That's someone they should trade for, even if they can't get Davis. I could see that helping them out.
Yeah, right.
Right? Yeah, this is tough, man.
Shit, I mean, I'd even like to go as far as, Clay and PJ Washington, throwing Kuminga and Buddy.
Yeah, that's something. That is something.
I'm a fan of that roster.
What do you think about if Dallas wants to keep Clay? What do you think about Najee Marshall going to Golden State, and essentially then the Warriors give up a bunch of picks and everyone thinks it's for Davis, but one of them is for Marshall, and it's this like tweener valuation where the Mavericks can say they got this haul for AD and kind of hope that people forget that Najee was ever in that deal. And the Warriors get some help at that guard / wing swingman, the modern version of the swingman, where they're a wing first and a guard second instead of a wing sized guard. Like, I think maybe Jimmy and Kuminga. Do the Mavs even want Jimmy and Kuminga for AD and Najee? And then the Mavs would have to throw more salary in. Maybe Gafford goes out to a third team like Indiana, and the Mavericks get Mathurin back.
Now you're talking. If you can find a way to get Mathurin.
Hey. So Dallas gets picks and Mathurin and Jimmy Butler for all their trouble, and the Pacers get the center they want.
You need a lot more than Gafford. Need a lot more than Gafford for that, though.
For Mathurin?
Maybe one of the first from Golden State go to Indiana.
I don't think you need to trade a first along with Daniel Gafford to get Benny Mathurin. I think that's a way.
What about Max Griffey? Christie.
He's someone who I don't think Dallas just moves willy-nilly. That's like a 50% three-point
Right.
shooter. Like
Yeah, no, I do like.
I think he's the freaking right now. He's the bigger part of the Luka return for that.
That's so insane.
If they can trade AD and Najee Marshall for Jimmy and Buddy and a bunch of firsts, and send Gafford out and get Matherin back. Oh, whatever salary makes it work, where they can get back like Davis, Marshall, and then Gafford goes to Indiana, Matherin to Dallas. Picks are moving around. I mean, there's going to be a lot of moving parts, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but there are two guys in the NBA that seem available that could help Stephen Curry and the Warriors win another championship. And those guys are Giannis and AD. And outside of those two, you're really leaving a lot more up to chance than maybe you'd like, or how do you feel about that? Is that where that line is, or you still think Laurie is?
I think Laurie's worth it if you're keeping Steph around, but no, he's definitely a tier down from AD and Giannis. That's for sure.
Here's my question: Steph is 37. Is he gonna? How much less is he gonna cost? Because Utah wants apparently 3-4 first-round picks for the guy.
Yeah, I guess.
So what I want to know is if Steph is 37 years old and you don't think Laurie is enough to help you win a championship, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Is it just about retooling? Because you don't need to trade future draft capital to do that. You shouldn't, especially if you're getting prepared to potentially need to refine the face of your franchise in a post Steph and Jimmy era. So I'm wondering what moves are worth it. Now, let's scale down a little bit. Let's start talking about those next tiers of guys, right? Because there are a couple moves I want to highlight that I think would be worth talking about. The first of which is a bit of a reunion. Zach. And the first one I want to talk about is a deal that I think would be a little nasty, but would also help us fix something that is super annoying, which is this Kuminga Warriors non-trade saga. What do you think about the Miami Heat?
Yeah,
grabbing John Kuminga and sending the Warriors back their number 2 option from the 2022 finals run in Andrew Wiggins. Would that be worth it for Miami? Would that be worth it for Golden State? It's one of those trades to me where if I'm the Heat, I don't mind getting a little younger. I know Norm Powell is my locker room vet, and Wiggins probably does do a good bit of leading there, but it's also not like Kuminga is like 19. And you've got Bam Adebayo, who's your captain, the face of your franchise. If they think Kuminga could be a better basketball player than Wiggins over the next few years, I think they should do that move, of Miami And if the Warriors aren't going to play Kuminga or are going to keep doing this weird saga with him, I think they should do this move. Does this make either team a championship contender if they weren't already one? No, but I do think it could help the Warriors, especially if they're moving off Buddy Hield in a lot of these situations, like find some stability with their rotation that they used to have with Wiggins in town. I don't know. I don't think moving off of him worked how they wanted, not because Jimmy's bad, but because he's hurt. This isn't going how they wanted. Just get him back. Go get him back.
I like Wiggins going to Golden State. It's just, does Miami actually think the couple years younger for a lesser player and a less of a fit? Like, Andrew Wiggins is definitely better. He's having a good year this year. I mean, he can play different roles. He's a veteran. He knows what his capabilities are, where Kuminga still thinks he's got some upside and he wants to try some other things and still exploring, but he hates being in Golden State. So I don't think Wiggins wouldn't mind going back to Golden State. I think he'd be happy wherever. So I think that part is fine. It's just, what does Miami want in this situation? Are they okay
Do you
with
add a
that?
draft pick? Do you add a draft pick if you're Golden State? Is
A
that
couple
worth it?
seconds, maybe. Yeah, I mean,
I'm even
that's
thinking a
a great
protective.
idea for Golden State. It's just the Miami part confuses me because
If
I
you
like
get
Wiggins and
Kuminga
Miami
and a
likes to.
protected first,
No, I'm not throwing in a first.
I
Seconds, maybe.
so second round picks, and then if you're Miami, you're saying get a little younger. Kuminga, can't shoot the way Wiggins can, but is athletic, is physical, can maybe be the Aaron Gordon kind of guy that we need out there with Khalil Ware or with Bam Adebayo. Maybe there's something there, right? So that was one of my ideas, but I think I agree with you that Golden State would need to make sure that Miami is properly incentivized for such a deal. Another one that, again, this kind of move does not make the Warriors contenders, but I do think this player could replace what Jimmy does for them better than John Kuminga could. And again, I don't know what other front offices think here on either side, but a John Kuminga Miles Bridges swap could get, if the Warriors, if that's something they even would think about.
No, the Warriors would be stupid not to think about that. I mean,
they might not want.
Are they
they might not want Bridges. They might not want
are they
Bridges
that
on their
ethically,
team.
morally sound of a franchise?
I don't. People, these things aren't monolithic. Like they may have determined, inside and internally that in this scenario they are right. Like
right.
So, but there is something to me about Bridges' athleticism and
he's a way better player than Kuminga.
Scoring ability that make him intriguing to me as a Butler Band-Aid that you throw over instead of Kuminga. So maybe that's something, but again, how interested is Charlotte's front office in Kuminga, and is Golden State's front office willing to add any draft capital there, or do they see it as Charlotte should be glad that they can pivot to a younger athletic guy and kind of reset the Bridges money? So I don't know.
Well, let's just get crazy here and go Jimmy Butler, Kuminga for LaMelo Ball.
They should have taken him with the draft pick that he was available at if they wanted him, because the Hornets would be crazy to do that. And that's crazy to think about. But I think if you're the Hornets,
they've taken some swings on some veterans, and they like to stay relevant down there. But I guess that was when Michael was more involved.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say it. All right. There's two more names I want to throw out there for the Warriors. They're both centers. What about
Drew Holiday, though? What does he do anything here?
If you trade Jimmy for Drew,
no, it'd be like Drew and Jeremy Grant. If it's for Jimmy
and Kuminga,
who else could you get there? Robert Williams or something? You'd need more than. Oh, that's tough giving up Jimmy for. If you're giving up Jimmy
salary.
And Kuminga.
Yeah, I think Rob's salary could fit if you made it like Jimmy.
I do like the pieces you can fit around Steph there and get a veteran-laden team.
Drew would be your on-ball
Drew and
defender.
Jeremy.
Jeremy needs to put the ball in the bucket, especially on that kind of team. He needs to hit his open corner threes. I think he could, I think Golden State could be a spot for him if he was willing to lock in and be unlocked. Because I do think Jeremy Grant needs some unlocking right now.
What? He's playing decent?
Yeah, but
he doesn't suck.
Is he on track? Is he on track for another season shooting under 40% from two? Is he on track to shoot worse from 2 than 3 again? Because last year he shot 44% at the rim, which was like the worst in the entire league. This year he's shooting.
He was terrible last year from 2.
This year he's shooting 60% at the rim and he's shooting 28% from the mid-range. I just like, but also again, we said this earlier. This is where the Warriors have put
He's up
themselves.
10% from last year on his twos. So
All right, interesting that you phrased it that way. I wonder how much of the NBA is shooting a better percentage at the rim than him. It's definitely not 72% of the entire NBA that's shooting a better percentage at the rim than him.
yeah, I'd have to look up
72% is
where he's at the
definitely
rim.
not a key number. No, that's the number. It's that is the number. He's he's shooting 60% at the rim, and that's 72% of the league is doing better than that. So again, there's unlocking to be done there, right? But that said, this is what the Warriors have done to themselves. This is the situation that they've put themselves in. So, if it's not Giannis or AD, that next tier is Laurie. What can they give up for Laurie? We didn't even really talk about it because I don't think it would get them to be a contender. So I don't think it's worth talking about. Every pick in the book and Kuminga and Podziemski and I think the ship may have even sailed on getting maximum trade value from the Jazz with regard to Podziemski and Kuminga. Like, if I'm the Jazz, I'm saying in Golden State, we're not even trading you, Laurie, because unless you're giving us Steph Curry, you have nothing we want for Laurie. So I think that this is what the Warriors have done to themselves. They have put themselves in the situation, and they've got to decide now: do we want to get out of it, or do we want to, do we totally want to just get out of it and trade everyone and rebuild and trade Steph to Charlotte and I don't know what else and just totally rebuild and tear this thing down and try again? Or is Steph Curry still playing at an elite enough level where we can win a championship? That's the side I'm on. I think he is still playing at an elite enough level where you can win a championship. And when you have Steph with a freaking 99th percentile offensive VPM this year, and then you've got Jimmy, the only other player on the team that's 90 or more, and he's hurt, you owe it to Steph to try something here. I think this is the final cost of the Steph Curry championships in Golden State, is using the rest of your future, your draft capital, Kuminga, Podziemski, whatever you have to trade, taking all of it and going after Giannis, and when that doesn't work, or if that doesn't work, going after Anthony Davis, because I do think you can get Anthony Davis if you really try hard enough, and I think you owe it to Steph to go get him a guy that he can chip up with. So do it, give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, we'll forgive you. Your fans might not, but they've got 4 rings to rest on, and a lot of other fan bases can't say the same.
All right, one name that I've seen thrown out there, I want to throw out. This is probably my last one. Sounds like we're running low on time here. So RJ Barrett.
That would be getting some talent to the wing spot. That would be a Jimmy Butler-esque type of player and replacement. I'm intrigued. Is that a John Kuminga construct?
It is, but I'm not a hell no on trading anybody, like everybody else, like Pods. Like if you can work out, say if you can work out a Jimmy for Anthony Davis deal, what if you can do a Pods and the extra picks you have left over for RJ Barrett? Or because Kuminga, Kuminga had to go out in a deal. Yeah, but I do think they have enough with the 4 first-round picks if they want to go all in to get RJ Barrett and Laurie, or RJ Barrett and Tobias Harris.
I like the RJ idea, but you're killing me, man. I think the 2 centers I was going to bring up were Miles Turner and Nick Claxton. I think if Giannis is getting moved and you don't get him, try and get yourself Miles Turner. See if you can pull that off. That might be a move where, and this is kind of random, but if you have to part ways with Draymond, I think that's worth it. I think you do what you can to get someone as talented and as good as Miles Turner on the team as Steph's number 2. It just didn't work for Giannis, but what other option do you have? And you have to hope that you have more depth than the Bucks, which I think you can pretty easily. Claxton, not inspiring at all, would be the ultimate guys, we felt like we had to do something, and no one was available for a fair price. So we're just going to send the Nets Kuminga and like one of the two young centers. We're going to send the Nets Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis for Claxton and man, I don't even know, maybe Cam Thomas, and they just let him walk after.
Dude, I love Cam Thomas and Golden State. I'd absolutely love that. I mean, I like that more than like Kobe White. I mean,
Kobe White is a much better player, but the cost to acquire him it makes it a non-conversation because you can't make that Miles Turner or whatever other Claxton, whatever other acquisition, if you give up what you need to give up to get White. Here's what I would say: the Warriors should do something, and this isn't just because I just want to see them do something for the sake of it. I don't think trading for someone like Claxton, even if you get Cam Thomas in the deal, I just can't see that changing things for you to the extent where it was all worth it. So I would stay away from that. I can't see giving up a first-round pick for Andrew Wiggins, leaving you in a place where you say that was all worth it. So I would stay away from that. Same thing with Miles Bridges. I wouldn't give up any draft capital to turn Kuminga into him. I think if you're the Warriors, you should do one of two things. One, something, Giannis AD, or then Miles Turner, if you can't get Giannis, I think is a really strong option. And his versatility, I think, would be a fit. I think he'd be great with Draymond. I think they can make that work. I really do.
But if you're going to go get like a Miles Turner, you got to go get like a little more, like Drew too. Go get Drew Holiday as well.
How do they have the salary space for? So in that situation, you're giving up Draymond for one of the two guys. Then you're giving.
I'd much rather have Drew than Draymond.
I think they're very similar players at this point in their careers.
Yeah, I mean the Warriors would not do that.
Draymond has a unique value to Golden State because of what him and Steph have gone through together. So, I understand your point, but I think you want to add. I think you want to be adding, not swapping. So, to summarize, go get Giannis, go get AD. If you can't do those, try and get Miles Turner. Try and pry someone from somewhere, right? Like, don't just go get Kyle Kuzma or Andrew Wiggins or Norm Powell or someone who's like a solid player because you wanted to do something. That would be doing something to do something. Get someone that addresses your needs, whether that is rim protection and shooting in Miles Turner, whether that is the same thing but from Anthony Davis. Those moves could change something for your team. I think if you're not going to make a move that could change something, if your best acquisition is going to be Miles Bridges or Andrew Wiggins, I may have convinced myself over the course of this podcast that you're better off just pretending that you're doing everything you can to win and not making any trades and leaving things as they are and just kind of waiting for things to shake out a little differently. Because right now, Steph is way too good to not still be in on trying to win with him. And the Warriors tried outsmarting themselves, 4 years ago out of doing this. I could see them doing it again now, being like, well, guys, we can't invest in him now just because we didn't earlier, because now it's 4 years later. If they make that mistake, what I think would be a mistake, you kind of just got to let things fizzle out, which stinks. And they shouldn't do it, which is why they should go get Giannis or AD or Miles Turner. And they should go make a darn run at this thing, because I look at the Western Conference standings above them. I think if the Warriors made a significant acquisition, let's say Miles Turner, right, the worst player of those three, and he's still a really good player, I think they could then be in the conversation to beat a team like Phoenix in the playoffs. It'd be really close. It would be tough, but they could beat them. The Timberwolves, they could beat them. The Lakers, I think they would beat. The Rockets, it would be tough for that defense, but they could beat them. You're in a situation where the 8th-seeded team is really only worried about the top 3 seeds as opposed to the top 7. And that's where the Warriors can be if they make a real move. So go get Miles Turner or someone even better, because I don't think it's too late for Steph Curry. I don't think it's too late for a 5th ring, and you shouldn't either.
Yeah, nothing I hate more than seeing great players on mediocre teams to finish their careers, especially when they're very close to their peak as well. And
Steph, 99th percentile offensive EPM. It's just not real. It is, though. Like, it is real. That is his stat there. A positive 6.1 in EPM gives him 99th percentile. The only players that have been better this season on offense, it's literally just Luka, Giannis, Shea, Jokic. Giannis has been having crazy year.
just because the EPM says that there's other guys that have been better.
Measures offensive impact really, really effectively.
But I could name a bunch of other players that have been better.
Who? Yeah. Jamal Murray? James
We're not going to get into this.
Michael Porter Jr., Kawhi
Leonard, Jaylen Brown.
Offensively only, you'd take him over Steph Curry?
No, I didn't. I missed the offensively only.
See,
part.
This is what I'm saying, man. The only players that have had a more impactful season on offense thus far, Luka, Giannis, Shea, Jokic. Giannis has played 7 fewer games. Jokic has played 5 fewer games. Luka has played the same amount of games as Steph. So all of a sudden, you start getting into some of these other guys, Donovan, Kawhi, Jalen Brunson. Like, Steph Curry is still doing it at this elite level. Go do something about it, Golden State.
Right.
Go do something about it. So we'll see. We got the trade deadline
coming
up.
Or send them to Minnesota.
Hey, they need a point guard.
Belongs.
Should have drafted him the first time, buddy. February 5th, the trade deadline. We will be talking about it. We will talk about it after it happens. We will talk about it before it happens. We're talking about it right now. And we'll see what the Golden State Warriors do. Plenty more NBA talk to come. Zach Noble, and also for Albert Nguyen, our third co-host, I'm Kris Pursiainen. Thanking you for tuning in, signing off, saying see you next time, reminding you to like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, thumbs up, whatever you got to do, and tell a friend to tell a friend. We're back, and the NBA trade deadline is 2. We'll see you soon.